Premium quality football shirts at an extremely affordable price. Sound good? If so, check out the sponsor of today's video, jerseyfifa.com. You can see that I've sent you some shirts and they really are top quality, so make sure to click the link in the description to go find a shirt for yourself or perhaps as a gift for someone else. And you can now use code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. That's code jerseyfifa at checkout for 10% off your order. I really do recommend their product, so go take a look. Now let's get into the analysis. So we all know that today is the day that Erik is set to be unveiled as the new Manchester United manager. And this has obviously been the main headline over the past couple of months, but people seem to be forgetting that he still had a job to do, with his main focus of course being on Ajax, which is exactly how it should have been. And before he could even think about the United job, he had his full focus on Ajax for the rest of the season, because he had a title to win for his side. They of course achieved this just a couple of weeks ago as Ajax were crowned champions of the Eredevisie once again, and as you would have guessed from the title of this video, today we're going to be breaking down the tactics that were used. So the best place to start is at the back, and this season Erik has really prioritised using a ball playing goalkeeper, with Pasveer playing a decent amount of football this season thanks to his ability when the ball is at his feet. From here we have then initially seen a pretty standard shape from Ajax as the two centre backs have looked to drop deeper and wider either side of the keeper in order to create the necessary passing angles from the back. From here, the shape used by Ajax to play out from the back has again been reasonably standard, often setting up in a 2-3 shape with Edson Alvarez sitting quite central between the two fullbacks in the midfield. In these sorts of situations, Ten Hag often leaves things to his defensive players to progress the ball forward. Often other teams will drop a lot of players deep to try and play out through the press, but Ajax this season haven't really done that. This is one of the reasons that the two centre-backs have been so important to Ten Hag's side, and the fact that Timber and Martinez are both so excellent on the ball has been absolutely huge to this team, and they've been quite fun to watch. Just in front of them, the two fullbacks have also been absolutely vital to help Ajax to play out from the back, once again thanks to their incredible ability and intelligence on the ball, which has allowed Ajax to play their way through the press. Having played through the press, Ajax then looked to adjust their shape slightly, and again the fullbacks were key for this, as Daley Blind often tucked in alongside the centre-backs, whilst Mazraoui found himself in a narrow position in midfield. The brilliant thing about this shape that Ajax have used is the fact that it simply creates so many passing options for the player on the ball, and we can see here the numerous passing angles that are created by using this sort of shape. Once again, the fullbacks have really been key to this. I don't want to repeat myself too much, but the ability of both Blind and Mazraoui on the ball has been absolutely crucial to the way that Ajax have played in their quite narrow positions. The narrow positioning of the two fullbacks has of course also had a knock-on effect on the two wingers, and this season we've seen them both holding extremely wide positions to keep the width for the team, something vital to Ten Hag's philosophy. This width from the wingers has once again been important to always create a passing option for the player on the ball, with the opposition often crowding the centre, leaving these spaces out wide as an easy option for Ajax. Having received the ball into feet in these wide areas, the two Ajax wingers offered tremendous 1 versus 1 value, with the two of them showing off some brilliant dribbling this season to progress the ball towards the final third. Dusan Tadic in particular on the left hand side of the attack has had another brilliant season for his side, contributing 16 goals in all competitions whilst also getting an extremely impressive 22 assists for his teammates. On the right hand side, Antony cannot boast the same numbers, although his stats are still impressive with 12 goals and 10 assists in all competitions, but as I was saying earlier, his pure dribbling ability has been vital as well. However, the wingers also offered variety on the ball, and one interesting pattern of play we saw was the midfielders underlapping, allowing the wingers to cut inside before then playing the through ball through the opposition defence. One of the players that has made these sort of underlapping runs is Bergwijn, and he is yet another player that has had a brilliant season this year when playing in these narrower areas of the pitch, and this is a bit of a new position for him. In the past we've seen him playing out wide, however this season his focus has certainly been through the middle, from where he has operated as one of the main creators for the side with passes into the opposition's penalty area. The other key player that was making these runs from deep in the midfield was Ryan Gravenberch, and he actually often started quite deep in the midfield area, but his athleticism allowed him to make the run forward in behind the defence. And just quickly on Gravenberch, he really is an incredible young footballer. His athleticism, his technical ability and his tactical intelligence all make him a great player, and I genuinely do believe he'll be one of the best in the world one day. This is backed up when we look at his FB ref report as well, and his ability to progress the ball in particular is really highlighted here, ranking in the 94th percentile for progressive carries, so make sure you remember his name, because I do think that Bayern could be getting themselves an absolute gem if they are able to pull this transfer off. The Bundesliga is the perfect place for Gravenberch to develop, and I do think he is a real credit to the Ajax academy. Fortunately for Ajax, I don't think they'll be losing all their best talents, with the main man Haller looking like he'll be staying at the club, and as I hinted at there, he really was one of the main reasons for Ajax's success in the league. Haller has actually massively benefited from the width that the Ajax wingers have offered, and in particular he has been an excellent target for crosses into the box, with his brilliant heading ability making him extremely effective. That's obviously backed up when we look at his numbers, and 34 goals in all competitions is a brilliant return for any striker, playing almost anywhere in Europe, and this is a testament to the way that Ten Hag has set up his attack. As well as contributing goals, Haller has also had a bit of a role to play in the build-up, especially when Ajax struggled to progress the ball, as they often chose to go more direct up towards the chest of Haller up front. However, in general, Ten Hag has often asked Haller not to get involved too much in the build-up. Now, that was just an extremely brief tactical overview of the tactics that Ten Hag used at Ajax this season. I could of course go into much more depth, but instead of doing that, I actually want to finish the video by focus on more of some of Ten Hag's principles that have really highlighted this season, because certain patterns really do highlight how good he is as a coach on the training ground. One thing in particular that we've seen from Ajax this season is third man runs and decoy runs, and this is basically players making selfless runs off the ball in order to create space for others on the ball, something we often see in the box. However, Ajax have actually done something slightly unheard of this season and taken it one step further, because we have literally seen the centre backs making decoy runs, allowing the midfielders to get the ball. Again, this is a testament to the work that Ten Hag has done on the training ground, and it also highlights his tactical intelligence, because this is genuinely a tactic or a pattern that almost no other team in Europe has used this season. Another thing that Ten Hag has demanded from his team this season is the creation of open passing lanes, and again this requires those decoy runs off the ball to create space for others to receive the pass, and it has made Ajax a great watch this year. Again, the key to this really has been the extreme width that Ajax have played with for most of the season, with the wide players dragging the opposition out of position, which then opens up these spaces for another player to receive the pass. This particular method of stretching the pitch to create vertical passing options is very reminiscent of the way that Pep Guardiola likes to set his teams up, and we can certainly tell that Ten Hag spent a lot of time alongside Pep at Bayern. This does seem to have largely rubbed off on Ten Hag and the way that he thinks that football should be played, and also the way in which players should be coached in on a day-to-day basis, and it fits that Dutch school of thinking in possession. One thing that Ten Hag has really focused on in training this season is the way in which players receive a pass, with a real focus on controlling the ball with the exact right part of the foot to create optimal potential for good pass reception. This has seen the technical level of the Ajax players increase dramatically this season in particular, and as a result the Ajax players have been given a real level of freedom in the final third to explore and express themselves in different positions. At times this has caused problems. Ajax have often committed a lot of players forward to the attack, although this has come at the expense of defensive security, with Ajax often getting caught in quick transitions from the opposition. To be fair, the brilliant combination of Timber and Martinez has gone some way to helping this, with the pure athleticism of the two often being enough to make the recovery for Ajax to get the ball back, allowing them to take control once again. As a result, this has led to an extremely dominant season for this Ajax side. They have certainly had their scares in transition, but their pure technical quality on the ball has been enough to ensure that they dominate most matches they play. This level of dominance and control can be seen when we look at the table as well, and their goal difference in particular is extremely impressive. In fact, it's miles ahead of those looking to challenge them. They've just been too much to handle. For this reason, Ten Hag deserves immense credit for what he's achieved with Ajax this season. He's improved pretty much every player, both from a tactical and a technical point of view, helping Ajax to claim the title once again. All of this has of course also been done whilst looking to implement some of the academy players into the first team, with players like Kenneth Taylor seeing a good amount of first team football, something that Ajax always look to do. Despite all the positives, Ajax have had their struggles as well, especially in the Champions League when they exited the competition much earlier than what they would have expected, but even in that tie they were still the dominant team. And I'm sure that they felt a bit better after securing the title just a few months later. They were worthy winners once again, and they've been a brilliant team. Unfortunately, Erik ten Hag has now left. My hope for Ajax is that they are able to rebuild as they have done well in recent years. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys for watching and I'll see you in the next one.